Okay. Hey guys, it's Bernice King with Pleasure Resources with one of my absolute favorite people in the world, my bestie, Miss Robin Randall of First Mind Chicago. I'm sorry, of First Minds. um, Robin and I worked at Comcast for 15 years. Well, during my 15-year tenure, and we learned. She became one of my best friends. Even after once we both left Comcast and started our own ventures, Robin has taken on the task of shaping and framing and encouraging young minds through her daycare center, and is even and we're celebrating this, moving towards creating a program to educate the educators and the parents. So we're just going to have a candid conversation here. Um, so, Robin, um, I love my favorite thing about you. One of my favorite things about you is how you have learned to communicate and stress the importance of communication. Um, my biggest example of the or influence of that is with your relationships.
Mhm.
I can always count on you to be like, well, did you really? Is that really what you want? Like you think about what you ask, those results, and then do you really want that? And then to say, well, did you say that? If that's what you did, you say that? And I know communication for me has always been a challenge, just because I try to avoid conflict and just trying to influence people to create the behavior that I want, as opposed to just saying it. And I know that that happens so much in my other friendships. I can hear it in their conversation instead of being direct and saying this is what I want and being, I don't want to say kind, but being not being saying what you want without being combative, um, and even expecting the not being combative, but just being direct and firm, and willing to accept the outcome of whatever that is.
Yeah. The communication is primarily the listening piece. And I apologize for the background noise in the city.
It's
Look, it's
Zoom. Is
just
we at
busy. I'm
home?
on a busy furrow. Yeah, so communication is primarily listening first. So there's like sometimes I've had to learn to say, "Is it my turn?" When people are talking, because I do have a habit of interrupting sometimes because I get anxious when I hear people talking. I'm like, "Oh, I get it." I'm trying to fill in or complete their sentence or their statement. When in actuality, you have to give them their turn. So it's just like, okay, it's okay. Do I speak now? What have you? So, um, thank you, Vernice, for having me this morning. It's a pleasure to participate in this and see your growth and your glow up. Um, so I'll let you begin with any questions you want to ask.
It's just a candid conversation.
Just a conversation. Here we go.
I don't want.
All the foolery.
I just want to feel like interviewee. I don't. I rather it
Okay.
be just like a conversation.
Like we be talking.
Because
Look, like we be
that's
talking,
how
talking.
we get down to the nitty gritty. I don't
Okay.
transform
Just
into I'm on TV mode or whatever.
right.
Because it loses is I think we lose the authenticity, the breath
Okay.
of in the meat, the real meat
Okay.
of the conversation.
Hmm.
We do that. So I know I
Okay.
started it off introductory, really formal, and I'm still trying to develop my own style. I mean, a style to create that. So this is a work in progress.
Absolutely. That's all we can do. Hey, we figure it out as we go, as we go along.
Mhm.
Um, I do admire what I've seen you do. The growth that I see is inspiring to me because, and even beforehand, when we worked together, I used to see you coming in like, "Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that," and I'm like, "Wow, she can handle lots. she, she be moving."
All over the place. What is
I'm
she
like,
doing?
wow, it was impressive, because it was like, okay, um, you're still available. You were still available even in the midst of doing those things, which was good. That was a good thing, is to see it in a friend. You know what I'm saying? So, and I even see you doing it now. I was talking to my spouse on yesterday, and we were talking about just some things the two of us had talked about as far as business goals and opportunities that we have, and the way that we want to move or transition into them in our lives or whatever. And I was like, but you know what? I don't think Bernice gonna do that, because she ain't gonna be still like that. She like to move. She likes to do X, Y, and Z. That's just her personality. He's like, well, I said, yeah, she likes to go. As me, I'm just gonna be kind of not be still, but I'm really disciplined in what is at hand. So that's our big variant between the two of us, but it also attracts us to each other as far as our relationship, which is very interesting between the two of us. So,
so you brought up one thing when you talked about you and your husband. So I know that since the time I've known you guys, going from employee, everybody, we all had jobs and stuff like that. Now we have all in our own little walk shifted to being entrepreneurs in our own business and stuff like that. So what I've been hearing, some of the conversation out here is about women, whether they're going to be career women or basically homemakers. And I know there's a middle ground in there, but you may kind of lean more towards one or the other, right? So the thing that I was really thinking about is the two, the power couple, where both people are like killing it in their own respective careers and stuff like that. So how do you balance that out with being a wife and mother? And I know it's challenging. It's a challenge.
I think that primarily now my current state is having a sound commitment to what I want. When I was younger, it was like I wanted what everybody else was doing. Like when you were saying the power couple image, which is primarily, I'm not saying it's not obtainable, but you have to do what's in what works for you or what have you. So for me, my goal is always peace. Like I'll tell them like, hey, okay, whatever, or I'm just going to zip it, be quiet. I want peace. So if it means I have to make some adjustments, even with my business, and I'll say this, I don't think he makes as many, but that's okay with me, because I'm grounded in wanting that peace. I want my daughter to see peace, and her to be able to articulate and communicate with the man effectively, because I end up getting what I want anyway, just having peace for myself or whatever. So I'm not saying the power couple image is not obtainable, but it takes a lot of sacrifice, and a lot of times people don't want that. They say they want, and you have to ask yourself, are you really prepared for what you're asking for? Because
that's the quote. That's the Robin quote, right?
Actually, I got that from TD Jakes. That's one of my memories, one of the reflections that I've learned to kind of gather myself when I'm in my roller coaster mode. I have to gather myself like, maybe this wasn't meant. I just take an example this morning with my schedule. I had a schedule. What I wanted today was to have my my steady appointment fulfilled for my cleaning. It was canceled, but and then my husband was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get the groceries, and I'm like, but are you gonna be back before the cleaning people come and be able to clean the groceries? And I'm doing all of these things. He like, yeah, like I got it. Let me go now, and I'll get this. And then while he's gone, I get the message, hey, it's canceled, and it's like, wow, it actually worked out. So then I just had to make some adjustments through my day. I could have been frazzled and frustrated. I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't need to do this. Maybe this wasn't a necessity. They didn't need to be. I have to think of all of these things. And remove myself or my want. I wanted that. Like I really wanted that. I wanted to not have to wanted to not have to clean up this space. I didn't want to have to do like so just things like that. And my husband just like, okay, and I'm still like, I am right up with you. And it's like it's what it is. But then I had to gather myself. Oh, okay, now I can notice something that I didn't notice before, like something with washing or something with, it's small for me. I've learned little things to pay attention to. Is what I'm trying to say. So his perception of that situation and my perception of that situation are totally different. But we don't have to have a dialogue about that because I understood what he said or how he felt about it, and he hears what I'm saying and understands how I feel about it. So I can understand what he says and understand how he feels about it. But he'll hear what I'm saying and only understand how I feel about it, which are two different things. But we both accept that.
Okay. You said now you basically both accept how each other communicate, how you live, like so you're not trying to change him to think and operate in the way that you want to, because you just accepted that that's just the way he is and the way he operates. Is that
right? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now 10 years ago it should be this way. You need to be doing it this way. And I wouldn't vocalize it, but that was my mentality, and it was exhausting and it was breaking. It was breaking me. It was breaking us. I had to learn to, and someone told me this before. They said, whatever their behavior is, that person, that's them. It's not you. But I used to be like, well, this is my spouse. He shouldn't behave like this or do this. But it's not. We're from two different spaces. We've come from two different environments. We've just had to learn to operate in peace in one environment, bringing both of our, upbringings or our whatever was instilled in us.
Yeah, your unique perspectives and stuff, your backgrounds together, and just kind of learn how to operate in that.
Right, like a puzzle. You doing it just right. Like this don't fit. Let's take it apart. Let's try it again.
I wish I should have jotted it down because you said some people would call that settling. That's what I hear a lot. Like a lot of people do feel like their spouse should respond a certain way to them because for whatever reason, if he loves me, he would do this. Or I've been hearing this phrase a lot. They a whole grown man. They should already know this or whatever. And I hear you all the time say, did you know? No, people don't know. People don't know what's in your head. They don't know what's in your, and they shouldn't. Honestly, and I feel it though. Now they shouldn't have to assume what you feel. You should be able to vocalize it.
Right.
But then you're saying on the other end, even when you vocalize it, just have that expectation or the understanding that it still may not necessarily go absolutely the way you wanted to, but you'll have to do some compromising on your end, and you have to sometimes just choose peace.
Right. Look, I'm not going to be stressed out. I'm at a different space now. Like I said, years ago, I probably would have been more vocal about certain things or what have you. But I've learned that it's so much easier to get what I want by and I don't want to say just being quiet, but just being peaceful. Everything doesn't require a conversation. Was understood, don't have to be explained. Like he understands where I stand and I understand where he stands. But as long as we both have those same values, at the root of who we are, I think that's something that's really important. But then when you say someone says, well, he a grown man, you're a grown woman. You don't have control over another human being. So you have to understand it. Like let them move. And if they want to operate how they move, and whenever they are ready to be who they desire to be, he might not even be with that whole grown woman that's talking about this whole grown man. But he will eventually, when he's prepared, he will be what he desires to be, what he's been, he'll be the grown man. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it may not be with that woman. Sometimes people will be with somebody for years and they've just been a straight butt head. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then, they break it off for whatever reason, or the woman's tired of it, or the man can be tired of it on either ends, and they get with someone else, and they are a totally different person. Like they are on their game, they doing what they're supposed to do, and people like, or that woman like, why he couldn't do that with me? You moved totally different, or he wasn't even. You moved into a place where he wasn't comfortable or felt secure enough to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? In that space, he can trust you with that.
Mm, that's a whole nother topic. Being um open, being the person, being somebody who you can be open and vulnerable to, or being somebody who somebody can't open up and be vulnerable to without being, and I guess that means without being judgmental. Like you said, that whole listening piece, just listening, not always even having to insert your opinion or advice. Just sometimes just listen.
Mm-hmm.
When Chris
Mm-hmm.
say, just shut up. Just shut up sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm. Um, I I got all of these over the years. There's just so many things that conversations that we had or said. Um,
I love it.
but
Girl, that's all of it.
no, but it's a few here that directly relate to this.
Okay.
To this thing about, and again, one of my favorite things about you is how you communicate too. Though, if I describe you to somebody else, they'll be like, "No, that's my girl Robin. You meet her or whatever." Like, and then if I talk about the influence that you have on me, it would be, um, deciding your value system, protecting your space and your peace, and the communication part, and even um, managing romantic relationships.
Mm-hmm.